welcome. I'm delighted to be joined by Verity and Andy from Dominion Print. We're here to talk about Andy joining recently. But can we start, Verity? Start with you. Just sort of introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about the company.
I've grown up as part of the business, and the business has grown as I've sort of, from me being a kid and sitting around coffee and listening to all the chat on with my dad and my mum and one thing or another about print. So it's fairly ingrained. Most of the clerks are in print, to be fair, but and in terms of Dominion, we are obviously a specialist print business with a strong reputation for quality and problem solving and things like that. And we work really closely with our clients on complex projects as well as sort of day-to-day campaign work. And we really try and take on the right work that's obviously good for the business instead of just volume, and all about turnover.
Good stuff. So it's a family business.
There's my mum's the company secretary, the other director. There's me, and my husband is the finishing and warehouse manager as well. So, but I do have a brother and sister, but they're no longer in print.
Okay, fair enough. And your husband works for you. Nice. Yeah. How does that work out?
It's well, to be fair, I think having worked with family for like my whole life, I can navigate it quite well. He's quite geeky about print as well, so we're all right.
My wife works, I'm going to say with me. I never say for me, be in all kinds of trouble. Andy, could you mind just also introducing yourself and the role you've taken on?
Yeah, so I'm Andy Kennett, obviously. I've taken on Commercial Development Director. Been in sales pretty much my entire life, my working career. The last 3.5 years in print, so relatively new to the industry, but quite a fresh perspective on it. And I'm basically joining Dominion to help shape and direct the sort of sales growth in the next chapter, very exciting chapter in its kind of new phase and direction.
So you mentioned you're in to take the company into the next chapter. What does that mean? Where have you come from? Where are you going? What's the plan?
I think obviously the company's been very, very successful, and it's got a ridiculously good heritage. It's 40 plus years in the industry, and it's been on a great journey to where it's got to today. But one of the big appeals for me is we're literally scratching the surface in terms of the potential of the business. We already deal with some of the world's most recognised brands out there, but we literally, I keep using this phrase quite frequently, but it's a bit of a sleeping giant of a business. The production capabilities, the capacity is light years ahead of where we can get to is huge. So I think we've got a business as is from 40 years plus to a great point, but then we've got the next chapter, which can be whatever we want to make of it, essentially, but we can take it.
Okay. So what is it that you're particularly good at? What are you standing out at in terms of the projects you deliver for brands and companies?
This is another touch point, really, in terms of this change. I think one of my big remits in the business is to look at changing the narrative around the company. I think there's been a huge investment in the marketing of the business to sort of get it into the market in a clearer and more precise way. We've been kind of pigeonholed as this company who just manufactures banners, which we do, and lots of them, and very, very well. Mm-hmm. But that's obviously a very small part of what we do as a business.
So is it all getting more about, okay, you print banners, that's fine, but we may want to sort of manage whole events with all kinds of different signage, different displays. This is the direction you want to be pushing into.
Yeah, and I think we want to be seen. Obviously, we've got a vast wealth of knowledge and experience within the company, and we want to try and help people by using that knowledge to help them with the project, select the right material, look at sustainability. Obviously, there's areas that we do a lot of, like retail and banners and stuff like that. In terms of the whole business, we want to look at how we can build, doing a bit more work in exhibitions and events, and a bit more with building wraps. But I think we're trying to position ourselves as being there to help people and sort of guide them on that. There are younger people coming into print, but I think they're starting at maybe more graduate level. So hopefully that knowledge and that help will be welcomed.
Yeah, okay. So obviously you brought Andy into the company. You identified the need for somebody with the relevant experience and the contacts and knowledge and everything to take you to that next level. How did you go about that process of finding? Because they're not that common, are they? No. I'm talking about you while you're sitting there, Andy. But it's quite hard to find people. So I know you're working with Matt at M2. Tell me a little bit about why you've decided to work with a recruiter and why specifically with Matt.
Yeah, so we decided that we needed to use a recruiter because we didn't necessarily want someone who had been in large format print always. And we didn't necessarily just want someone just to get new business and just be a new business development manager. We identified that there was need for more of a strategic partner and a more strategic sort of person within the business. Obviously, my mum still works here, but she's looking to retire in the next few years. And it was sort of, sales isn't my forte, isn't my thing. I appreciate that we need it. And that's where basically exactly what I said to Matt, who felt like the right person because he just, obviously he's all over everything. But he just really got it, and I just said, look, you're the expert, this is what we really want. And he just came back and he was like, I found Andy. And I was like, okay, great. And Andy came in, and it was, we had a really great interview, and it seemed like a really good fit.
Matt's pretty much on everybody's radar, I think, in terms of the signage industry. I think there's probably not a company who he's not working with or spoken to, I think, in this field. So it's quite well known. So when I found myself in the position to look at what's next for me, it was a natural choice to reach out to Matt and have a conversation. He had been reaching out to me for some time. Obviously, our conversations hadn't developed past I was comfortable where I was at the time. When the time was right for me to look at my next challenge, Matt was my go-to.
Okay, so he's obviously presented this role to you. What was it that you sort of liked the sound of?
To be honest with you, it was a bit of a go and have a conversation, and I think from both sides, really, it was a let's have a conversation to see if there's something in it, really, from both sides, because I think what was on paper originally from yourselves was you were looking to evolve that role slightly from where it was, and how might I do something a little bit different to what was on paper. So it was a case of going in and meet the team and have a conversation. So it was from that point, really, then that it became of great interest. It was obviously interesting because Matt had given me a bit of an understanding of where the company was at. But then once I'd met with the team and had a conversation, it was very apparent from that point. It was a must-take opportunity for sure.
Good. So what was it that particularly got you fired up?
Probably a couple of different things, to be honest. One was the people. So obviously meeting Verity and Elaine and having that conversation. It wasn't like an interview. It wasn't like a meeting per se. It was a discussion, and it was a conversation, and it was natural, and it was easy, and I think we clicked, and I think we just from both sides understood where we were coming from. They kind of got where I was looking to get within my sort of journey in my career, and I was massively excited about where the business is going from a Dominion perspective. So it was the people first and foremost. I think it's really important. You know, first impressions do matter. You're going to work and spend a lot of time with these people, but then learning about the business, seeing obviously all the great things it's done. But then to find out you're only literally scratching the surface of what the potential is of it is a light bulb moment. And I'll be lying if I've said this a couple of times now. I genuinely went away after the interview and was up till 2 a.m. thinking of all the different things we could do. So I think from that point I was pretty much sold. It was details from there afterwards.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like Andy as well. So how about from your side, Verity? Obviously, you've got to have the same feeling in the other direction. How did that go?
Yeah, it was really. We sort of started out being a bit, not 100% sure what we want the role to be and how we want it to go. And then as soon as we met Andy, it was like, oh, this is the role, and it just fit really perfectly. And I think you could tell that Andy really listens and he's really strategic and really thinks about things. And that was something that we thought was really great and perfect for sort of that really senior person within the team. So yeah, it just clicked, like you said, and that was on the 20. I don't know, we signed everything off on the 23rd of December. Yeah, it was a bit of a shock for everyone when we came in on the 5th, like, ta-da!
Wow. Okay, well, that's quite nice, isn't it, to have that all agreed? Did you say it was just before Christmas or just after? Just before. Yes, it's nice to have that bit of downtime, bit of family time, and then hit the ground running in the new year. So you've been there since January the 5th. It's a few weeks now. It's probably gone in a flash. How's it started? What's been the early wins?
Understand the business, understand the people has been the primary focus to start with, which is taking time in itself, obviously, to get under the bonnet of the company and obviously the people. So not having direct reports in a sense also helps because I can then have one handle on working with the team, enabling the sales rather than taking away traction and friction as best I can. But also have a handle on looking at what opportunities we can be tapping into from a new business perspective as well as growth from the existing account base. And quite quickly we're identifying there's work that we can be picking up. We're in advanced conversations already with new logo work as well as a number of opportunities expanding on the existing. So we've got very quickly a quite clear pipeline of new work coming down the track.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of get my head around exactly where the potential, if you like, for the work you can do in terms of the technology that you have to produce banners, signage, whatever displays of all sorts. What's your sort of sweet spot for the sort of companies you're looking to work with and the projects you're hoping to do?
I think we're open to many different verticals. I think we've got areas that we perform exceptionally well in, as you can appreciate, areas where we are good but nobody knows about. And there's areas where we as a company also want to evolve and expand into, where we see potential. But I think in terms of that growth piece, we could take that to pretty much wherever we want to take it to. I think the good thing about Dominion as a business is they've always been forward thinking in terms of investing in the business and in its people. So in the equipment and the assets that are in for production in particular, we're a step ahead. So we're not going to grow outside of our remit and grow too quickly. We'll make the investments and do the work to grow into it. So we've got breathing room, but obviously we'll expand and scale at the right pace.
Good stuff. Well, it sounds like it is something that's very much a work in progress and something to probably come back and talk to you in a few months' time to see how you're getting on. And I'm sure, I know we had an announcement from you just recently, and hopefully more announcements will come through over the coming months as you have more achievements and have more successes.
Yes.
So congratulations on the appointment, and I wish you all the best of luck going forward.
Perfect.
Very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.